How come there. Hello. Hello. How about them Raiders, huh?
Yeah,
Going for 2? That's
going
great.
for 2, yeah. I can't remember the last time they were 2-0.
I know it. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, good for them.
I'm so upset with football right now. Because
Yeah.
I haven't watched the game.
Oh, I'm going to kneel tonight when we do the Pledge of
You're
Allegiance.
killing me, man. I agree with everything he's doing, but what he's doing.
Yeah, but what he's doing, yeah.
But it's not the proper place.
No.
I agree totally with what he has to say. I agree.
Okay.
Hi, Debbie. How are you? Good.
Good evening, everyone, and I want to thank everybody for your patience. We are starting a little bit later than usual. You can tell you got a board that are talkers. So with that, we have returned from closed session. Is there anything to report at this time?
So at this time, I'd like to report that there is nothing to report on items 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3.
Thank you, Chief. And on item 2.4, I'd like to make note that Fire Chief Jean Neely and Vice Chair Robert Gleason were out of the room due to potential conflict of interest. And on item 2.4, there's nothing to report at this time.
Very good. Thank you very much. We will go to roll call now.
Thank you. Chairman Gloriana Rhodes,
Present.
Vice Chair Robert Gleason,
Present.
Director Ty Payton,
Present.
Director Manuel Medeiros, and Director Benny Gatto.
Present.
Thank you.
At this time, if you can please stand, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, it's a declaration of conflicts of interest for the remainder of the agenda. Are there any new conflicts to report?
None.
I'm hungry.
Okay, so we will go into presentations, which there is none. Public comments, and of course, this is the time when persons who wish to speak to the board regarding an item that is not in the agenda can do so. Of course, the board can really not, besides maybe ask a question, get involved in any part of it until it has been agendized formally. So with that, is there any public comments at this time? I just did a short version of the whole paragraph. Okay, so we will go into the consent items. So if I can have the,
Yes. Consent calendar, item 8.1, August 18, 2016, public hearing, regular board meeting minutes. Excuse me, that's August 18, 2016, regular board meeting minutes. Item 8.2, monthly register of warrants. Item 8.3, receive and file August 2016 incident and training report. Item 8.4, receive and file monthly year-to-date budget report.
are there any items to be pulled by either board or anybody in the audience? With none, I entertain a motion to approve 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, and 8.4.
Second.
I have a motion by Payton, second by Gatto. If you can do roll call, please.
Director Gatto,
Yes.
Director Medeiros,
Yes.
Director Payton,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gleason,
Yes.
Chair Rhodes.
Yes.
Thank you.
There are no scheduled items, so we will go straight into the informational items.
Okay, for this board meeting, I wanted to present the board with two policies that have been implemented by staff. These policies, as the board is aware, that they have to approve all governance policies and policies of administrative nature. These policies are directly written and implemented from the fire chief in accordance with Ordinance 1. However, I do want the board aware of any policy that is being acted into the membership, and so I wanted to bring them to your attention, and if you have any questions or would like to comment on them, this would be a great time.
Okay, so I'll start on my left.
What? Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you have anything?
No.
Director Gleason?
So we're looking at in the 5.5, and so it's going to replace 5.5, or it's going to be an addition? Because 5.1 kind of talks all about it a little bit, and so it's going to be I'm just looking at my book as to where to place it. So it'll be in the back of that section? Okay.
I'm sorry,
Peyton?
yes.
No questions.
Okay.
Gatto?
I have none.
Okay, and all I have is, I know that social media has become a big thing, and employers are making sure that they do have policies. I appreciate that there are clear policies. It's easier for the employee, and it is easier for the management, as well as the board. So at least we know what we can and we cannot do. Is there anybody from the audience that wants to speak on this? If there is nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for,
No motion necessary for.
oh, that's right, I forgot about that. So the next one?
10.2, Chief's report. Do you want to go through 6.1, the OES policy, or I thought I covered them both at the same time? Do you want to hit one by one? It's up to you. If they're unclear, then I
Oh,
can.
yeah, I was focused on the social media one, I apologize. Did anybody have anything else on the OES one? Now,
No.
yeah.
No, because it's going to follow the same thing. There's going to be 6.14, so where to put it in our book, make sure we're good to go.
Yep.
And on this one, I mean, I could have asked the same thing on the other one, but it's just kind of a general question. When we do these, do we follow, for example, OES, I imagine, has their own, so we're making sure that we're in sync with them?
So what happens is, they have a criteria that we have to meet for notification. What we're doing is we're following up with a policy internally so that somebody is notifying them, so we're meeting that criteria. So we needed a policy to kind of follow that along. So if somebody wanted to ask, well, how do I notify them that I have equipment out of service? This is the procedure that we do to notify them. So it just gives an instruction book to somebody to understand how that process is done. So that's what we put the policy in
Okay.
place for.
When, I remember, I mean, we were forever, in my previous life as an employer, we were forever amending or having to create new policies or whatever. We actually had a policy on how we would distribute and train on policies, and while I wouldn't want to be that specific about anything, how do we disseminate this down the line?
Perfect. So that's a great question, and I was hoping that somebody would ask that, or I was going to articulate it after. We met and confer with the union first, and so we put the policy together. I have staff work on it. Whoever's assigned to the OES rig, I think I had someone work on that, and then same thing for the social media policy. Actually, Josh Capper in the audience, does as acting battalion, that's his responsibility to work on policies. He puts it together, and then I meet with the e-board and meet and confer on the policies themselves. Then I put the policy out for review through a digital format in a training program called Target Safety, where they have to acknowledge that they've read the policy in that format. Then, if there's any questions, for instance, we did get some secondary questions on a couple items from the e-board, so we met and conferred again to make sure that we covered everything and everybody was comfortable with it. And then there was still some questions about it, people were uncomfortable. And I think for example, one of the questions that came from the membership was, well, when you send out training, sometimes that's from YouTube. And they're completely right. It's from YouTube. But, and not to say they didn't use common sense, but I just wanted to reassure them that if we sent it out, it's authorized. So anything that's sent out from staff has been authorized for you to view and review. And then there was a question, well, what happens if the next video, because if you ever watch YouTube, sometimes the next video has
Oh, yeah.
additional training. What about that next video? And I said, well, if it's similar to the training that we sent you, and we want you to view this one, and that one's the next one, and it has the same information, or information that's related to it, then of course you could review that one if that's what you want to do. But we don't want you doing searching YouTube and looking at different things that you're not supposed to be looking at. That's what we don't want. And that's what, you just common sense type stuff. So I think we're in a good place with this. I think it's going to be a great policy for us to move forward with.
Okay, now, and I mean, I have a really dumb question that relates to me, but, my, my Facebook picture is me in front of a fire engine. Is that allowed?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's authorized.
I just want to make sure.
What we want to do is we want to make sure that pictures that are taken from staff or even the board, they're just property of the district, that's all. That they just
Okay.
become property of the district, and that we don't want to violate someone else's policy, like CAL FIRE's policy. So CAL FIRE is pretty strict that when you take pictures, they've had in the past people taking pictures of houses burning behind and everybody's taking a selfie in front of it, and that's inappropriate, and it's been posted while they're fighting the fire. It's not the message they want to send.
Yeah.
And it's not the message we want to send. So we just want to make sure the message that's being sent out there, that we're just reviewing it. It's not to say that you can't take pictures with your spouse or your loved one or whatever and have them, that's authorized. What's not authorized is stuff that may be potentially harmful to our image or perceived harmful to our image.
Very good. Anything else on it? Okay, so we will go to chief's reports.
So strike teams, we've been out quite a bit this year. It's quieted down. Engine 316 had to have some repairs. We just got it back the other day. So it's back in service and up and running, and they've had a couple fires, but nothing we've been called out to. So I see the weather changing. The only thing I potentially see us running more this year is maybe to Southern California, but I think the strike team season is winding down. So it'll be good to have everybody home and all that apparatus back. But it was our first year of having 2 engines out, and we did face a couple times where we had challenges of holding people over to make sure we had staffing. But I just want to thank the membership formally and the union and everybody who participated. All the firefighters, they really stepped up this year and made sure that we staffed our organization and fulfilled our mutual aid response to the state of California. So I just thank them they did such a great job. I just want the board to know that. The open houses are in process, and unfortunately, I missed Station 32's open house because I had another engagement because it was 9/11 of all times. We should have made that one a special open house. But we did have staff that was there, and the one at Station 31 went very well. We had, I think, over 2,000 views when we put it out, and it got out a little bit late. I'd like to get it out a little bit earlier, but it did get out a little bit later. Still had 2,000 views and 5 comments on our Facebook, and then in turn, talk to the staff, they said that the whole day was just completely full with people there coming in and taking pictures. The corn maze, we've completed the EMS agreement again this year, so we'll have firefighters on standby in the corn maze. We purchased the adapters for the rural connections, so those adapters have been purchased.
Thank you.
And we're moving forward with that. We just want to get for the water tender, the liability. So the adapters have been purchased and they're placed on the apparatus, so we have the capabilities. We just want to make sure that we're making smart decisions when we're out there working with private not companies, but private owners of water tenders and private sources. We just want to make sure that if we're going to draft out of somebody's pump that has there, we know how to use it, we know how to operate it, and whether that's in a pre-fire plan, something similar to that with instructions that somebody could pull up and utilize, then then that's what we'll do. So we're just going to move forward. It's not completed by any means. We still have some work to do with it, but we're moving forward.
The liability issue, right? That's what you're kind of alluding to.
Right. I want to make sure that I don't get somebody out there that burns up somebody's, I was going to say $1 million pump, but it's, I'm sure it can't be that much, but, hundreds of dollars of a pump, that first we're putting them out, and then that's not fair to them, and then who is liable? Would it be us? Then we have to come out of pocket with it. But I don't want to inconvenience, somebody that has to water their fields with that same pump because we carelessly misused it or don't know how to use it properly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we just want to get through that process. B-Tech is a charter school that has been established for Manteca Unified School District. And we are actually working with them right now. We're going to be doing community service with them, similar to the ROP students. It is a charter school that focuses on, I think, 3 disciplines that are off the top of my head. One is culinary, the other is engineering, and then the third one is the first responder. So they're preparing people to be first responders in the future. My daughter goes there. We want to participate and be a good participant in that and provide as much staff that we can afford to be out there to help train, to bring them in and do, they have to do community service, so they do ride-alongs like the ROP students would do, and then bring them to our facility and use our facility as a training point for them that potentially they could, I don't think they'd be allowed to go into the burn. I don't think we would go that far, but at least see how it works and see how firefighters perform. We could smoke up the training room and they could do some stuff with that. So we're going to be a good partner with Manteca Unified School District, and I'll bring you more information as that comes around.
Did they approach you, Chief, on this?
No, I was told about it by one of the directors, and unfortunately we kind of missed the ship on this one a little bit, and we're getting back involved. So. They did approach us originally, but it was kind of, we weren't sure where it was going, and we thought they were going to contact us, and they hadn't, and so once I found out more about it, and actually Director Medeiros had pointed out that we should be involved in this, I made contact with Diane Medeiros, and I have our training officer meeting with them next week to kind of work out the fine details of how much we're going to participate. But I want to fully commit to this, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to get out there. The FETS conference is coming up. We're leaving, actually, myself, Chief Medowski, and Becky will be going. It's in Southern California. All 3 of us will be down there, and I have people that'll be in charge of the district while we're gone, and we would be able to come back I would be able to fly back or come back if I had to, and we'll be in constant contact the whole time. So even though we're out of the area, with today's technology, it'll be like we're here.
Yeah.
What's the dates on, when are you going to be leaving?
The 20th through the 25th.
Of this month?
Yes.
Yeah, September.
Lastly, it just has come to my attention that some pictures were taken by one of the candidates for mayor and placed on a political webpage. It was taken during one of our open houses, and I know that it's maybe being misled that we are in support of that, and I'm not sure of the legalities of it to the extent from the district standpoint or the liabilities. But I was just wanting some direction from the board if they would like me to contact that individual and ask him to remove those pictures off his political webpage. I don't know where we're at with that, but I will certainly make that contact if the board agrees to that. And that's all I have for the chief report.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there any comments on that?
Yeah, I would say to contact and have them remove it.
It's a public event in a public house. Tread softly. You know, that First Amendment thing, how's it worded?
It's his personal webpage, it's not a problem, but it's a political webpage,
Yeah.
then that becomes a political issue. And I know he did it with the police services, and I don't know what they've done, but I know that they had some concern also.
There are political
Yeah,
practices.
Well, and I mean,
Ask them.
I feel bad for the firefighter to be, and the police officer, to be really honest with you, because I don't think they had a clue that they were, in essence, doing an endorsement. I don't know the person. I it's not even
No,
something
maybe.
I'm running for or whatever, but
I can have our attorneys look into the fair political
I
practice,
think
and
it
they'll
would be more
contact
of an
them.
issue too for the association, really, because it looks like the firefighters and the police officers and the Catholic Church have endorsed this individual in his political. It's also a liability for him, because Benny, Bob, and I, and Manuel, you two, I don't know if when you, I don't think the district does it, but when you have to sign all that paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
You have to swear, and give the pledge and everything that you will not use any information, falsely. So I think he might appreciate us, he's a brand-new person in politics, might appreciate us telling them, you could get yourself in some trouble here.
And I'll check with Monica Streeter from New Miller and Beardsley. I love that attorney firm. There are so many different people that have so many different specialties there. That really has been an asset to us. So anyways, I will contact her. She works well with the Fair Political Act, and we'll get we'll consult with her and see what she thinks we should do.
Well, and in the same breath, the open houses are for the firefighters to show the community the great stuff that they do. It's not even the board or any elected or whatever, and I kind of felt bad that we did it in September then, because it obviously was used as, and by the way, this person's not running for the district, it's something else.
Backdrop.
But, yeah.
A backdrop.
Yeah, and so it's just not, it
Right.
kind of took away, this is the firefighter show, this is what they do and
Right.
what they want to showcase, and they want to bring the community, and it's not for any of us to use.
I'm sorry, I do have two more items. If I could go back a minute. I need to update you on the lease for MDA, because they contacted us about that. So Monica Streeter is working on that for us, and she should have something in the next week or so for us to start negotiating with. She wanted to get some current pricing of where that falls into place, of how much commercial property is worth right now, because we don't know that number yet. So she wants to get that. She's doing research for that. And the second thing is the lease for Verizon to come over. We're real close to finalizing it. I think next month I'll be bringing you a lease agreement for you to sign with Verizon to move on to the tower.
Sure. Chief, can you briefly report what's going on in the city for the board? The buildings that are going up and stuff like that?
New development.
New development, yeah.
So, can I bring that back next, if you'd like to hear about that? I think that I would be giving you just a portion of it. I think I'd like Steve to report on that, because he works on all the new development, and I think that would be a great opportunity for him to come in front of the board and report that, if I can.
That's fine.
I'd be giving you just a slight,
Do it as a referral then, that's fine.
Because I'm looking at the stuff on Louise, Crossroads, Centerpoint.
and I can tell you what they are, but I want to give you some more detail of what the nuts and bolts and maybe some timeframes. So I think it would be appropriate for Steve to, does that sound fair?
Yes.
If I want to do it, I want to do it right, and I don't mean to push it off, but I'd like to answer any questions, and I don't want to be able to,
Okay, that's fine.
sorry.
Okay, does that conclude your reports?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry.
So at that point, we go to board comments and referrals, and I think we already have a referral, which is to bring that back. That was a Benny referral, a Director Gatto referral. So Director Gatto, did you have anything else in terms of comments or more referrals?
No, just as the chief did, thank all the firefighters for their great support through this season that we had. I know it was very tiresome to put in a lot of time, but I'm glad you guys stepped up to the plate, and good job. Keep up the good work. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay. I'll do it last. Gleason?
Solar. Our solar update.
I'm sorry. I should have put that in there. I did contact them, so they're finishing Farmington, and I was told, I was guaranteed that we will have the next one. And next month, I will have the diagram for Station 34. They had to take everything off the roof and put it on the ground. So that's going to be something that we're going to have to look at for if MDA does want to come over to Station 4, as they said. They haven't talked to us anymore about it, but they had to take everything off the roof in order to make Station 4 work and put it on the ground. So it's going to have to be basically in uprights, either parking structures or something of that nature. But so I'll bring that back to you next month.
They hit everything else on my little thing.
Oh, okay.
So I appreciate it. That's all I had. Thank you.
Sorry, that was one thing I wanted to update. I know another director was concerned about it, and I did make a contact about it. I'm sorry I didn't update you on that.
Director Baderos, anything?
No.
No?
It's my bedtime.
Oh, okay, yeah, mine too. With that, I just have a couple of things. I'm glad that we have a group going to that HR conference. I wish I would have been able to go, but as you all know, I work 31 days in October, and September is just as busy and crazy, and part of November. So I'm going to miss that one. I've heard a lot of great things about the open houses. I had a function at my house on the first one, and I got very ill on the second one, but my thoughts are with you. But they seem to be doing really good. All I hear around town is, and we've got this barbecue coming up, which is a great thing. It's to honor firefighters and police officers. Everybody know about that? Oh, perfect. And the last thing is, make sure that, there's some firefighters here that I can thank, but make sure that everybody understands. This season seems to have been one of the toughest. I don't know if the fires were bigger or because I don't get into all of those details. But of all of the years, and even though I've been on the board for 8, it's been many years for me, because since Lewis started, I think almost 20 years ago, I've had some, it just seems that this year, families were disrupted more. I swear that my son got a lot of white hairs in the last three months or so, and I haven't seen him. It's really sad. I have not seen my son in over a month, because he doesn't go to the fires, but he does all the overtimes for the guys that go. So, my hat's off to you, and everybody just be safe. That's the main thing. And come home to your babies and your wives and your moms. It's very important. So with that, if there's nothing else.
Okay, thank you.
Make sure everything's, I understand.
So Chief, you'll be around next week, right? Oh, next week is okay. All right. I just come have lunch with you one day. I will.